And from our view and from our understanding, based on our inspections also that we've done, base inspections that we've done in Nigeria, the specific incident didn't involve any fatalities of any sort or any injuries of any sort. The aircraft itself did not sustain any damage, and that is reported as a factual point in the report, the full report. And that, by all indications, the incident had a lot to do with the weather conditions at the time.
The Leone has a lot of priority when it comes to safety, because this is of high consideration, because we have to take lives and transport lives. Presently, the aircraft is undergoing rigorous maintenance in South Africa, and hopefully very soon it will be flown back to Nigeria and then forwarded to Freetown. And when it gets to Freetown, this aircraft will be allowed to go through the rigorous inspection of the civil aviation authorities here, and then hopefully we will get an approval to operate from the civil aviation. So definitely safety is priority, and the aircraft is presently going to maintenance, and hopefully we'll get to Freetown and then go through the inspections of the civil aviation in Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leoneans, let's see what they do for push this country go before. Wake up your body and do something.
This is not the program Do Don't Clean with Baba.
The same old system and the same problem. So wait till we follow, we never did. Wait for make this problem, yes, so when.
Hello, my family. Baba Sheikh, the political offender, with another edition of the program Do Don't Clean. Well, my family, today on the program, an update with the general manager of Air Sierra Leone. Well, today it can discuss the company in focus on safety standards and routine maintenance, the punctuality and the integrity of the operation we then for carry out. And most importantly, we will know exactly if this particular plane in question, waiting, they don't put in place in order for lay people and go satisfy, say yes, it fits for dinner the air with passengers. Well, the general manager of Air Sierra Leone and the director general of Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authorities, then they are today for can clear some of who doubts them who get pan this particular plane and the Air Sierra Leone as a whole. Well, the first question would then be through to the general manager of Air Sierra Leone and the director general of CAA and AYV during the interview is about waiting we need for know as people as alone about the Air Sierra Leone and in operations.
What is it we need to know? There are concerns that have surfaced as we just read out in our introduction there. What is it we need to know about Air Sierra Leone and its operations?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me this morning. I think it's really important when the public raise concerns around safety for authorities like the CAA to be very transparent in giving the facts around incidents and also assuring the public about the measures that are in place for any airline. So the particular incident in question, I think the press release that we released was very factual and very detailed. And in addition to the information in the press release, we also circulated the full report that was, preliminary report that was issued by the Nigerian Investigation Bureau. And the report, I think, is very, very clear. It's very detailed, including the communications between the pilot and control tower prior to the landing of the aircraft. And from our view and from our understanding, based on our inspections also that we've done, base inspections that we've done in Nigeria, the specific incident didn't involve any fatalities of any sort or any injuries of any sort. The aircraft itself did not sustain any damage, and that is reported as a factual point in the report, the full report, and that by all indications, the incident had a lot to do with the weather conditions at the time. There was no indication in that report that the incident was as a result of any form of technical failure of that aircraft or pilot error or anything to do with the actual operations of the aircraft. I have to also make very clear that there are many factors involved when you're dealing with aviation activity, and weather is a huge, significant factor. So in this instance, from what we understand, like I stated earlier, the weather conditions, the rain, the thunderstorm, the low visibility was a significant contributing factor, and there are no indications that the incident, which is a runway excursion, the flight landed and it veered off the runway. So there is no indication in that report from the authorities that this was due to a technical malfunction of the aircraft. And I have to emphasize that at this stage, the application is still in process. We have not cleared that craft to operate in Sierra Leone as at now.
Well, me family, we all waiting the Director General of the CA don't say. Well, I say after the incident, the report would then get say this particular aircraft no be get any technical failure or malfunctions. You say now because of bad weather, and they not approve this particular aircraft for run as Saloon 8. Well, the next question where they ask them is about the status of the aircraft as of now, and if it connected to any financial constraints, because from where they say then the start operation, they don't see any movement. Say that's why they're asking that question. They then say and waiting at the priority.
What would you say is the status of the craft right now, and was it selected due to financial constraints, or what do you also prioritize? Do you prioritize safety over cost and the likes?
Thank you for having me. Definitely Air Sierra Leone has a lot of priority when it comes to safety, because this is of high consideration, because we have to take lives and transport lives. Presently, the aircraft is undergoing rigorous maintenance in South Africa, and hopefully very soon it will be flown back to Nigeria and then forwarded to Freetown. And when it gets to Freetown, this aircraft will be allowed to go through the rigorous inspection of the civil aviation authorities here, and then hopefully we will get an approval to operate from the civil aviation. So definitely safety is priority, and the aircraft is presently going to maintenance, and hopefully we'll get to Freetown and then go through the inspections of the civil aviation in Sierra Leone.
Well, we already waiting the general manager don't say, he said the first priority now the safety of people and the aircraft still undergo a solid maintenance in South Africa, and he get for fly back to Nigeria from Nigeria before he can have Freetown. And he say after proper inspection, then they will start the operations. Well, let me get for ask if there was a mechanical error will make the aircraft we encounter this problem.
Ms. Barry, you seem to be saying that the plane is free of all glitches, no problems whatsoever with this plane. Is that the case? Are you saying that the plane is 100% pure without any mechanical error or problems?
What I'm saying is what I read in the report and what I understand from my colleagues in the authorities in Nigeria is that that aircraft did not sustain any damage as a result of that incident. What I also understand is that the incident was not a result of any technical malfunction of that specific aircraft. Just listening to the conversations and the questions with Air Sierra Leone, I just want to clarify that there are various different weather conditions. The experience your friend may have had in Lungi with darkness is completely different to a thunderstorm with heavy rain, because the surface of the runway is a huge factor to affect the smooth landing of an aircraft. So if a surface is contaminated with millimeters of water, we have to understand that this will be a contributing factor.
Well, the answer with the Director General give, he said there was no damage as a result of that particular incident. He said no malfunction. He said this happened because of bad weather. Well, the next question they ask them say where the aircraft in South Africa now they undergo maintenance. And say if they be do any inspection Panam.
Edgar, you mentioned Air Sierra Leone now being in South Africa and undergoing maintenance. What are the inspections and modulations being done to it at the moment? Could you share with us?
These are standard maintenance that every aircraft has to undergo. And presently, Air Sierra Leone will be like a flag carrier of Sierra Leone. So when I mentioned being painted, is to ensure that it has the colors of Sierra Leone, because this is the hope that this aircraft will be a flag carrier of Sierra Leone. And so undergoing routine maintenance and also being painted to carry the colors of Sierra Leone. So these are presently what is going on in South Africa.
Well, the general manager say the aircraft will undergo the standard routine maintenance and then already paint them the Sierra Leone flag color na South Africa day. And then go ahead and ask them again, say after the May incident, if they don't ever fly them na the sky.
And after the May 11 incident, did it reach up the skies again? Or it's now going to take its first flight again since May 11?
Well, what I would like to add here is that for a flight to move from Lagos, where it was, and to fly into South Africa, it must have had the regulations of South African airspace respected. So definitely for it to fly from Lagos to South Africa, every aspect of the CAA of South Africa was respected. So definitely the flight was in good condition for it to fly from Lagos to South Africa.
Well, the answer with the general manager, he said before the plane they take off from Lagos for go South Africa, he said it don't go through the regulations of the South African airspace. He said so the flight be there in good condition before he left Lagos for go South Africa. And they ask him again how many aircraft where they get for operate with na Salone.
How many aircraft are there in the fleet?
So Madam DG just spoke about the aircraft that we'll be using from London to Freetown. We also have in our fleet 3 Embraers that we'll be using regionally to fly from Freetown to the regional destinations. So all in all, a Boeing 737 MAX 800 series from the UK and 3 Embraers 50-seaters that we'll be using in the sub-region.
Well, he say that 3 phase. And then for operate with, he say the first one are from London to Freetown, where now the Boeing 737 MAX 8, whilst this particular one where they South Africa now on maintenance, he say now for the run from Freetown to the sub-region where now a 50-seater. So then go ahead and ask them again, how old is this particular aircraft will be involved in this incident?
So Lako, how old would you say this aircraft is?
The aircraft operating from the UK is...
this particular aircraft that veered off the runway in Nigeria?
The one that veered off from the runway
in Nigeria?
It's about 20 years.
20?
Yeah.
Do you think it's quite old to be reintroduced?
I believe the safety of air operation depends on the maintenance of the aircraft and not the age. An aircraft can be 2 years old, but still not going to its routine maintenance, and therefore it's not deemed airworthy to fly. So this is what I would say. Yeah.
Well, when they ask him how old is the aircraft, he said the aircraft is 20 years. He said the age no matter, and aircraft, he said that the maintenance no matter. So then they ask him again and say, waiting at the reason why them for buy old plane for use them for do business.
I understand that perhaps the intentions are quite pure. here, you know, for introducing, you know, Air Sierra Leone, which is highly needed at this time, particularly so when countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, you know, Morocco, South Africa, you know, all operating their own aircrafts. What reasons do you have, or can you put forward for buying such a very old aeroplane?
So firstly, I'm a regulator. I didn't purchase any aircraft. I think that's a discussion for Air Sierra Leone. What we do as a regulator is to make sure that any aircraft, be it Air Sierra Leone or otherwise, is safe and airworthy to operate. So again, we made very clear in the press briefing that this is not a government-owned or run aircraft. We do not have equity, we do not have stake, we are not involved in the business of this aircraft. There is commercial branding, which says Air Sierra Leone, and I think what for us as a regulator, we're processing this airline as any other airline.
And he said the aircraft not to government owner and government not to a business partner. He said, but not just a commercial branding of the Air Salon. And then go ahead for asking and say, why Salon for do business with such an old aircraft?
Marco, you could tell us that? Why did Sierra Leone decide, you know, to do business, if I'm understanding correctly, with such an aircraft that is 20 years plus? I think it's 20 years, 2 months. I just checked with the plane spotters net. I used the plane still number to track it and with its serial number and everything here. Why? And it has operated in several countries actually. I will not give you the history, all of them listed here, but just why?
Yeah, I would just like to read a phrase from the ICAO website. It says, an aircraft's age is not highly correlated with safe operations. So what Air Sierra Leone is focusing on is to provide safe air transportation. And like I mentioned before, and I believe the DG has mentioned that too, is that our airlines are going to all the maintenance required by the international aviation industry. So we believe strongly that our fleets of aircrafts maintain the high standards of safety, and they go through all the maintenance requirements of an airline. So
what you've just read could be subject to arguments, you know. That's for ICAO, you know. And if you read other particular websites, they will tell you the enormous disadvantages of using an old aircraft above 10, 15 years.
Well, the general manager, the try for talk say the age in no matter we come in terms of the thing, and they say not the maintenance. He say once he pass all the regulations for say it's safe for lead and fly, he say no matter. He say no to the age.
What we need to emphasize, and I think what the national concern was, which is even why I'm here, is safety. And we have to really be very, very clear, like I said in the beginning, that we don't put our arms around safety. We don't claim sovereignty and non-disclosure when it comes to safety. You must disclose and you must address what issues there are, if any. So back to the aircraft in question, and I think you asked whether at the time of the incident, whether it was airworthy or whether it had its regular maintenance checks.
Yeah, it had it before that. Yes.
I think if you look in the report, and I think we really would encourage, you know, the public, those interested, to read that report in its entirety, because you will follow the entire communications and the assessment. One thing that was made very clear in that report is that at the time of the incident, the aircraft was airworthy. That means it was in compliance with its maintenance checks. The crew, the pilot, co-pilot, all those on board were qualified and licensed to carry out that operation. All of these things are very important in establishing really what went wrong. If there was a question that maybe at the time the aircraft itself wasn't in good condition, it would have been a red flag. It would have been something to look into. But from all indications, from the report and from our assessments, there was no, you know, no attention drawn to those issues.
I'm not interjecting, but don't we have something called unpredictability when you talk about aviation or planes, the shuttling of a plane and the likes? There are other bigger aircraft which had crashed mid-air I mean, they had undergone all of their checks before that happened. You know, I remember the case of this young pilot some years ago who just died. He just started actually when I think it was Boeing 737 or so that crashed mid-air. Are you saying that Boeing hadn't done that particular, you know, routine check before that, you know, crash? Things happen, you know. And these are machines.
That is exactly the point, and that is something none of us can forget.
Can't predict.
Even in 100% checks, even if this aircraft was just cleared today, it can take off, a bird can fly into its engine, goes down, or something can happen. We're dealing with machines, and that is one of the reasons why, you know, in safety there's not really much of an unpredictability factor, because it is a routine, structured, draconian, you know, system. It has to be, and even with all of that, you cannot be 100% in any of it, because you're dealing with machines. Elements can come into play, such as weather, such as, you know, other factors that might affect that aircraft. Nobody wishes for an accident, nobody wishes for an incident, but outside of what you have control of, there are many other elements that can result to that. I just wanted to point out as well some instances. You referred to your friend that's a pilot, and last December, you know, we can get Hamatan.
Yes.
Last December, I had to divert 3 planes to Conakry due to low visibility, because we just could not land them in Lungi. So weather, visibility, rain, those conditions, they are a make or break.
Key variables.
Very, very important.
Well, we all know within the Director General of the CA don't say, and within the General Manager of Aviation Saloon don't say. Well, the main important thing here is now the safetyness of the people. He say the age of the plane it no matter. He say now the maintenance. If you say if the maintenance the plane done the inspector and see say all the standards them way if for pass them, then he hear what that them for able for fly them. And the other thing again where them they try for talk on say machine can develop faults. Even if na new machine then thoroughly check them. It pass all the regulations them. He say it still can develop faults until then at the year other thing happen. Be new or old once na machine, it can develop faults at any time. But according to the Director General, he say they not complete yet all the paperwork in order for this particular aircraft begin run as alone to the sub-region. Well, the doubt we get, it don't clear a little bit because we be the feel saying that this plane and them were used for the run from London to Freetown to London. But now the Boeing 737 MAX 8 now get for use for the run from Freetown to London. And according to them, they say now December 2nd, that flight say they start for run. But we don't know yet if the websites don't open for the people and begin purchase tickets.
Please subscribe to my new YouTube channel Don CLIN and hit the notification bell to be notified for new videos.
So my family, this now just an update of the Aviation Saloon. So my family, how we get the updates now? So we go to pass them on to now. Until next time, this na Baba Sheikh, a political offender, with another edition of the program Don CLIN. Now me say tata, peace.
This night jets up for music,
sweet music production.
Don't clean up. I did program this, where they educate you. Don't clean up. I did program this, where they inform you. Don't clean up. I did program this, where they entertain you. Don't clean, don't clean, don't clean. I did program this, don't clean, don't clean. I say this program not for me and you, because it entertain you. This program had to inform you. It entertain you. Oh yeah. This program had to inform you. Yes, it inform you. All the daily things them where they happen in our country. Baba Sheikh there for inform you. All the daily happenings where they go on our country. Baba Sheikh just entertain you. Tell me say Kokoriyoko. Before long go, so you have to wake up. Tell me say Kokoriyoko. Wake up. up. Gonna for wake up, wake up, wake up. I say this program damn too nice. It entertaining from you too. Baba Shaki program damn too nice. Oh, it entertain me. Don't clean up. And the program this, where they educate you. Don't clean up. And the program this, where they